Welcome back to the deep dive. It never ceases to amaze me, the variety of topics you folks bring to us, and today is no exception. You've really outdone yourselves this time.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a stack of material here, all about India, and I have to say, I'm pretty excited about this one. I mean, India, it's a country with such a rich and fascinating history.
Definitely. It's a place that's been on my travel list for ages, but honestly, even just diving into this material, you can tell it's more than a quick vacation destination. You're going to need like a lifetime to even scratch the surface.
Right. But that's where we come in, right? That's the beauty of the deep dive. We're going to take this massive amount of information and condense it down to the essentials. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to extract those real gems of knowledge and give our listeners a solid foundation about India without, overwhelming them.
We're going to go on a journey through its history, starting from the ancient civilizations all the way up to the incredible diversity you see in modern-day India.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The first thing that jumps out from this material is the Indus Valley Civilization. This civilization existed from 3300 to 1300 BCE, which is, well, it's just mind-bogglingly ancient. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are mentioned right off the bat. What do we know about them? What makes them so important?
Well, think about it. This was one of the world's very first urban civilizations, and not just a random collection of houses. These were well-planned cities. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking grid layouts, advanced drainage systems. They even had standardized brick sizes.
Standardized brick sizes,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they had figured out a way to make bricks that were all the same size.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, especially back then. And it actually tells us a lot about their society. It suggests a really organized and structured society, one with some serious engineering skills.
I see. They had to have some sort of central authority to pull that off, right? Some kind of leadership that could organize these large-scale projects.
Precisely. It wasn't just random construction. This required planning, resource management, coordination. It was quite sophisticated for its time.
It really makes you wonder what their daily lives were like. We can learn so much from these remnants of the past. Okay, so from these early urban centers, we move on to the Vedic period, roughly 1500 to 600 BCE. Now, this period is absolutely crucial because it lays the foundation for Hinduism and the writing of the Vedas, which are still so central to Indian culture today.
Absolutely. The Vedas are the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. Think of them as a massive collection of hymns, philosophical writings, and instructions for rituals. They established the core beliefs, the early social structure, and many of the deities still worshipped today. They're like the root system from which so much of Indian philosophy, spirituality, and cultural traditions grew.
Okay, so we have these deep spiritual and philosophical roots, and then we see the rise of the Mahajanapadas, 16 powerful kingdoms and republics around 600 to 300 BCE. This is where things start to get, well, I guess you could say a little more political.
Yeah, you could say that. This period marks a real turning point toward larger, more organized political entities. These Mahajanapadas, they were constantly vying for power, forming alliances and engaging in wars. It was a period of intense political maneuvering and consolidation of power, setting the stage for the rise of the great empires that would follow.
Right, so you've got this almost like Game of Thrones situation brewing.
In a way, yeah. Each Mahajanapada had its own ambitions, strategies, and alliances. It was a complex web of political dynamics.
Fascinating. And then from this complex political landscape emerges the Maurya Empire, founded in 321 BCE by Chandragupta Maurya. He's credited with unifying a huge portion of the Indian subcontinent. I mean, that's no small feat. That's a huge achievement, especially for that era.
It was transformative. Chandragupta Maurya, he really changed the game. He created the first truly large empire in India. And he didn't just conquer, he established a centralized system of administration. A powerful military, a network of infrastructure, things that really helped solidify his rule.
So he brought a level of unity and organization that hadn't been seen before.
Right. You could say he laid the groundwork for a more cohesive Indian identity, even if it was under imperial rule. And then, of course, you have his grandson, Ashoka the Great. Now, his story is particularly fascinating because of the dramatic shift in his approach to leadership after the Kalinga War. He turns to Buddhism and starts promoting peace and nonviolence across Asia.
Yeah, he was known for his rock and pillar edicts, right? Spreading his message far and wide. It's a really powerful example of personal and political transformation.
Absolutely. The Kalinga War was a brutal and bloody conflict, and it had a profound impact on Ashoka. It led him to embrace Buddhist principles of nonviolence, compassion, and tolerance. And what's so remarkable is that he used his imperial power, not for further conquest, but to spread these ideas. These rock edicts, they weren't just about his authority, they were about promoting ethical conduct and moral principles.
It's like he turned from a warrior king into a philosopher king.
Exactly. And his influence, it went far beyond India's borders. It played a major role in the spread of Buddhism across Asia.
A really remarkable story. Okay, so we've got unification, we've got this major philosophical and religious shift with global consequences. Now we move on to the Gupta Empire, which ruled from around 320 to 550 CE. Our source material calls this the Golden Age of India. So what was so golden about it?
Well, the Gupta period, it was a time of incredible flourishing in so many areas. Art, literature, science, mathematics. You have figures like Aryabhata making groundbreaking contributions to astronomy and algebra. Art and architecture reached new heights of sophistication and beauty.
All right, so it was like a Renaissance period for India.
You could think of it that way, yeah. It was a period of intellectual vibrancy, cultural richness, and creative expression.
Always love to hear about those periods of great advancement. Now, fast forward a few centuries, and we encounter the Chola dynasty, a Tamil power that thrived from the 9th to the 13th century. What's really interesting about them, and I think it challenges the image many people might have of ancient India, is their naval power.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Cholas were a formidable maritime force. They controlled trade routes in the Bay of Bengal and expanded their influence all the way to Southeast Asia. They were not just a land-based power. They had a sophisticated understanding of naval strategy and a global outlook.
So they were projecting their power across the seas, trading, establishing colonies, engaging in diplomacy, all of that.
Exactly. They were a major player in the Indian Ocean region, and their legacy isn't just about military might. They left behind incredible temple architecture, like the Brihadiswar Temple in Thanjavur, a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Okay, so we've moved from this powerful South Indian kingdom. Our attention now shifts back north with the Delhi Sultanate, which starts around 1206 CE. This marks the beginning of a new era. Muslim dynasties ruling over a large part of India.
This was a significant cultural and political shift. The Delhi Sultanate, it introduced new architectural styles influenced by Islamic traditions, things like arches and domes, and new administrative practices and legal systems as well.
So it was a blending of cultures, a fusion of different traditions.
Exactly. And it really laid the groundwork for future Islamic empires in the subcontinent. Some of the key rulers during this period were Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq, both known for implementing some pretty major and sometimes controversial economic and military reforms.
So while the Delhi Sultanate was holding sway in the north, down south you have the rise of the Vijayanagar Empire in 1336. Our source material highlights its rich culture and the magnificent city of Hampi. They specifically mention Krishnadevaraya as a particularly celebrated ruler.
The Vijayanagar Empire was a powerful Hindu kingdom, known for its grand temples, intricate carvings, bustling markets. Travelers at the time, they described Hampi, the capital, as one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Wow. And Krishnadevaraya, what was he known for?
He was a great patron of the arts and literature, a skilled military leader, and known for his wise and just rule. He really represents a high point of South Indian culture during this period.
So we see this fascinating interplay of different powers and cultures across the subcontinent. Now, we arrive at a name that I think most people are familiar with, the Mughal Empire. It all starts in 1526 with Babur, and of course the Taj Mahal gets a mention, which is, come on, it's iconic. But there's so much more to the Mughals than just stunning architecture, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Mughals, they unified a vast territory, and they established a really effective centralized administration.
Mm-hmm.
They also fostered a unique cultural blend, combining Persian, Central Asian, and Indian elements. You see it in their painting, their literature, music, and of course, their breathtaking architecture.
So who are some of the key figures we should know about from this period?
Well, you have Akbar the Great, who is known for his policy of religious tolerance. He really tried to create a unified empire that embraced different faiths. Then there's Shah Jahan, whose reign is synonymous with the architectural splendor of the Taj Mahal. And you can't forget Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughal emperors. He's a bit more controversial, known for his stricter, more orthodox religious policies.
Okay, so a lot of complexity there, a lot of different approaches to rule. And finally, in this historical overview, we come to the Maratha Empire, founded in 1674 by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This seems like a really important movement of resistance against the Mughals, a push for Hindu self-rule.
It was. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he was a remarkable leader. He challenged the Mughal Empire and established an independent Maratha kingdom. His military tactics were innovative, and his emphasis on Swaraja, or self-rule, resonated deeply with the people.
So it was about reclaiming control, asserting their own identity.
Exactly. And later, under the Peshwas, the Maratha Empire really expanded, becoming a major force in 18th century India before encountering the British.
Ah, right. The British. So we've journeyed through millennia of history, seen empires rise and fall, witnessed incredible cultural and religious shifts. And now we come to a period that really shaped the world. British colonial rule in India, which lasted from 1858 to 1947. What's important to note here is the shift from rule by the East India Company to direct control by the British Crown after the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857.
That's right. The British government stepped in and took direct control of India. This was a turning point. They implemented policies that had a huge impact on every aspect of Indian life, from its economy and administration to its social fabric.
And of course, it's during this period that we see the rise of the independence movement, with figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, and Jawaharlal Nehru all playing significant roles.
Each of these leaders brought their own unique perspective and approach to the struggle for freedom. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance, satyagraha, was incredibly powerful. Bose took a more militant approach, and countless others contributed to the movement.
It was a long and complex struggle, but eventually it led to India gaining its independence, a pivotal moment, August 15, 1947. And Jawaharlal Nehru became the first prime minister, setting the course for this newly independent nation.
Nehru had a vision of a modern, secular, and democratic India. He focused on industrialization and played a key role in shaping India's foreign policy, advocating for non-alignment during the Cold War.
And of course, we can't forget the adoption of the Indian Constitution in 1950, which established the framework for the democratic republic that exists today.
Absolutely. The Constitution enshrined fundamental rights for all citizens, established a system of government with a president, prime minister, and parliament. It was a huge accomplishment.
So now we transition to modern India, and one of the things that immediately jumps out is its incredible diversity. The source material mentions the major religions: Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Jainism. This is truly a multicultural and multi-faith society.
It is. India has been a crossroads of cultures and religions for centuries. And this diversity, it's woven into every aspect of Indian life. It's art, music, literature, food, festivals, everything.
And it's not just religious diversity, right? There are so many languages spoken in India. The document mentions 22 official languages, including Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, and Telugu. I mean, that's a lot of languages to keep track of.
It is. Each language represents a distinct cultural identity, a rich literary tradition, and unique cultural nuances. It's a testament to the complexity and richness of Indian society.
And then, of course, we have the festivals. The document lists a bunch: Diwali, Eid, Christmas, Holi, Navratri, Pongal, Onam. It seems like there's always some kind of celebration going on in India.
Festivals are a vital part of Indian life. They mark religious events, seasonal changes, harvests, and they're a time for community gatherings, music, dance, special foods. It's a vibrant tapestry of cultural expression.
And speaking of food, we have to talk about Indian cuisine. The document describes it as incredibly rich and varied. You've got spicy curries, delicious sweets, all kinds of regional specialties.
Indian food is a reflection of its diverse geography and its long and fascinating history. The flavors, the spices, the cooking techniques, they vary so much from region to region. It's a real culinary adventure.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the ancient Indus Valley Civilization all the way to the complexities of modern India. We've explored powerful empires, the struggle for independence, and the remarkable diversity that defines this nation.
It's been quite a journey through time.
It has, and honestly, it's just a taste, a glimpse into the vastness and complexity of India's story.
Exactly. What we've covered today provides a foundation, but there's so much more to explore, so much more to learn.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it, right? As you reflect on what we've discussed today, what sparks your curiosity? What aspects of Indian history or culture intrigue you the most? What would you like to delve deeper into? Because this deep dive, it's just the beginning of the journey.